I'm supposed to talk now. Okay. I thought it was after George, and I was going to practice up a while. Anyway, thank you all very much. It's with great, great pleasure that we could contribute to NOVA, and that we've been out here, as Jennifer said, for 40 years or more, and saw the institution grow from a very, very small institution of 3 buildings. Sandspurs, where this building was the dilapidated airfield. And when I first started out here, which was in the early 70s, one of my first experiences was to meet Abe Fischler, which I don't know where he was. Oh, there he is. And I always say, but for Abe, none of us would be standing here now. And I've always, since we're being named, you know, for this library, I've always loved books. And my first experience at NOVA with Abe was I was arguing with Abe, as he does many times, and he actually, this is a true story, he actually took a book off the back because he disagreed with me. And, you know, he just couldn't keep up with the argument. So he took a book and threw the book at me, literally threw the book at me. So anyway, that's how I first started. And the thing that gave me the greatest pleasure out here, other than serving as attorney and Susan serving as attorney and us going around the country fighting the different battles in those days of everybody worried about NSU, but was to be the special assistant to all the presidents other than the very first one. And I was special assistant to Abe, and it gave me the opportunity to see his vision and his insight and how he wasn't going to let this place fail and how he was going to do it. I also had the opportunity, wonderful opportunity, to serve as special assistant for Chancellor Ferrero. Now, in Chancellor Ferrero's situation, it's a little bit different. There, I was a junior partner, and I was always his junior partner. So anyway, with Ray's insight and everything, it was just wonderful how he brought the institution along. And then the third president that's here, which is our current president, which is Dr. Hanbury, I've gotten the opportunity to work with him in that same capacity. And I've got the opportunity to go with him in Panama and actually see him fish, or attempt to fish, let's put it like that. So I've got the opportunity to see these things from an inside-out perspective. I really, really, was our total pleasure for working here this long to try and give something back to NOVA. My wife Dottie Panza, which is sitting right there next to Janet in the second row, was kind of the force behind this. She's been an educator her whole life and wanted to do something in the education field. So there was nothing better than libraries. I love libraries. I think they're great. 2 weeks ago, I was trying a case up in Tallahassee, and we're happen to be moving our offices. For those of you who've been over there, we're moving finally after 20 years, we're moving. And so I was sitting there having, you know, we had a break for lunch, and I get this email that says, and I don't read emails too much, but anyway, I got this email because you can tell the generation I'm from with my advanced age. So I get this email, and the email is from the law firm, from somebody in the law firm, who says, we're going to take a survey on everybody who uses the library in the law firm and everybody who wants these books, whoever goes in and uses the library. So, I mean, I'm aghast at this because I love the library. I think it's a special place in the law firm. I've been practicing for 40, whatever it is, 44, 45 years. And we always had libraries. There's never been a time when I haven't had a library. I don't have a computer, so I'm not there. But so anyway, so I decided I'm just going to take 1 second and just read you. So I was sitting at lunch, and I was thinking about this. And so I wrote them back, and all of these young ones that were in the law firm, all of this newer generation, of which most of you probably are in, love to use a computer. And they get on a computer, and they won't never go in a building like this. I mean, I don't know what they think they would do here. So anyway, I sent them back a thing, because they all voted, no, we never go in there, we don't need these books, get rid of the books, it's a waste of time, and all the rest of it. Stuff like that, except nastier, some of it. So I said, what about me? What will I have to use for research? I like books. They're like old reliable friends. They shouldn't be discarded and thrown out so easily as some of the others, without naming names, have said. Books have been around for thousands of years, and this new electronic invention has only been here for the last 25 years. This new friend is always breaking down, needs new passwords, endless upgrades, creates addictive behavior to text and email messaging, allows for limited social interaction, and it might cause disease states that have yet been diagnosed. If you want to take these profound risks, go ahead. But remember, I warned you, I'm going to stick with my old friends, where I don't have to worry about spam, viruses, pornography, and the rest of the unwanted communications. I know there are those of you who will want to discard these books, but at least give them the respectful funeral they deserve. I will sacrifice and move along with the handicap of not having real research tools that you can touch, feel, and dog ear. Therefore, I will expect all of you to be available on Saturdays to do my research. I don't know how to use the computer. I don't know how to do all this stuff. But all I can do is this really gives me and my wife Dottie a thrill to be able to be a part of this and be able to have the ability, and Nova's been such an instrumental part of the law firm for all of these years, for over 40 years, and we don't know what we would do without it. And as I said, it's part of the genetic makeup of our firm. And we love Nova and we love the library. So with that, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight.
He really did send that email. For me tonight was the opportunity to thank the law school. I'm very thankful to the law school, and in particular for three things it did for me. First was this law school gave me a great education, and with that great education I've had the opportunity to be a very successful lawyer in this community. I grew up as an inner city kid in Miami. My parents weren't educated, and they are in awe of what I've been able to accomplish. And I owe that to the law school and to Nova Southeastern, and I thank the university and this school for that. The second thing is I would like to thank this great law school for introducing me to my partner. Tom Panza is the best. We were in a second-year event for the university. They were actually welcoming a new dean, and one of my law professors introduced me to Tom Panza. And I got my job that evening, and it's been 37 years we've been working together. So if you're a student, and if you're here, and if you're clerking, don't miss up any of those opportunities to attend university events, because they open a world of opportunities for you. And the third thing, I got my husband at Nova Southeastern. A really great husband. Now Larry says he first spotted me twitting around the law school and flitting around minding everybody else's business, and he always said that if I'd spent a few more minutes sitting at a desk studying, I might have been editor-in-chief of the Law Review. But instead, everything worked out. I have a wonderful career, a fabulous law partner, an awesome husband. And both Tom and I, if I can take a personal moment, I'd like to recognize our kids that are here, Dana, Patrick, Gina, David, Ben, Jennifer, John Harris. Our children are here. We have grandchildren here. So we have a very long history with this institution, but all of the good things that I have in life started in this library. So I want to say thank you.
Maybe your children, but seriously, Tom has indeed been the special assistant to 5 presidents, of which I've been fortunate enough to have his advice and counsel, as well as the 4 predecessors that he served with. I was just talking to Ray. His experience began, the law school is 41 years old. It's 10 years younger than the university itself. And Ray has been practically involved since that early beginnings. Abe, the only one that probably had longer tenure would be Abe Fischler as the president emeritus of this university. And Tom has been there with the mark of the book on his head that Abe hit him with. I don't know if it did much good, but it certainly has endured him with this university. It's interesting, in his own fashion, in 1988, Panza had on the front page, "Nova is not for sale." If you can recall those days, the state of Florida wanted to acquire Nova University to become part of the state university system, and the board, of which Ray was on, wanted to be independent. And as such, we continued to maintain our independence. The price of education is the same. As Abe told me many, many years ago, you have to pay competitive salaries for faculty here this evening. Throughout the university, you have to provide facilities, you have to keep all of the necessary accounting things. All of that is the same. It's just whether you are independent from the state legislature or the Board of Governors or Board of Regents or whatever the call may be. But the cost of education is the same. One supported by taxes, and one is supported by tuition, endowments, scholarships, and research. And that's what we're here this evening for, is to help support individuals such as Ms. Valdez to continue to come. You know, just the other day, I had a successful graduate to come and say, "I am so proud to be a graduate from NSU Law, because the faculty at Nova Southeastern University in our law school teaches you the practice of law versus necessarily the King's grant of law." And that he had actually had his first year of law school served as a clerk of a judge. And another clerk was from, I'm not going to mention his name, but it's a little school up in Gainesville. And there was a first year law student from serving as clerk as well. And the judge asked him to prepare a memorandum and a brief. And he knew what to do. Well, the first year student from that other unmentionable name came to him for advice. He said he was blown away that he actually knew and could teach the other law student how to prepare a memorandum and a brief for the judge. But he said the practice of law is important, and that's what NSU faculty teaches. But for the opportunity for scholarships, our law school would not necessarily attract some of the best and brightest. And that's what this whole ceremony is about. Not just for Tom and Susie, but for the aspects of scholarships and raising funds so that we can have bright students such as Ms. Valdez to come forward and to learn the practice of law instead of just the theory of law. We do tremendous, tremendous work toward that nature. We also, before eHarmony, did a pretty good job of right. I don't know, they call it hooking up today. But Larry and Susie have been together almost as long as, well, as long as Tom and Susie have been together. So it's been a wonderful ride for all three of them. All three are graduates of NSU. Obviously, Tom got his law degree from another little private independent school up in mid-state but he got his master's in criminal justice from NSU, and obviously Susie and Larry got their JDs here while attending law school. Larry has continued to be involved and engaged in the circle of friends, and now he serves as chair of that body. And Susie's been actively involved in not only the university itself as general counsel along with Tom, but also engaged in giving back. You see, part of the core values of NSU is indeed community and giving back, and it's something we encourage not just the faculty, but our students to prepare and to create an atmosphere to give back and to make this place a better place to be. And then also to possibly help those that aren't as fortunate as we may be. Susie, Tom, and Larry have done exactly that. And thank goodness, Tom has had Dottie to encourage him to do the right thing as time has moved on. So, Tom and Susie, congratulations and thank you. You know, when I called Tom and said, Tom, we'd like to really do a nice ceremony for you and Susie. And guess what Tom said? Oh, that's great. Do I really have to come? I said, well, if you give us more money, I'll let that satisfy. But as you can see, he's here tonight. But seriously, thank both of you. I hope others will follow suit, because all of the money that they're giving is not going toward building anything. It's going toward scholarships. Scholarships for young men and women to be the Valdezes of the future, to be able to come to NSU and to learn the practice of law. Thank you all very much.
I'd like to get A's and Ray's and Marty Press. I haven't seen any other trustees come in, but I think Ray, if you and Abe come up.
Yeah, where's our little mascot? Who's she?
Everyone, very good. Look right here for me, please. If not.